Hello, hello. How are you? How are you? I wanted to talk to you a little bit tonight about getting your driving permit or studying for your driving permit. Back in the day or what have you, they gave out manuals and there were 12 chapters in the manuals. And I read one, three, and one, two, and three, and 12, but I studied the rest of them. And I learned that the signs and everything is very important, and that I studied and I looked at it and I went and took the test. And then after I learned how to do that, instead of putting the book on a shelf and everything, I made lessons out of it. And for 20 years, I was teaching it at my job as a social worker. I would do the class to encourage people to bring up their self-esteem and to make them feel a sense of accomplishment, which it was getting a driver's license, a permit, and everything, and having a school to drive with them after we studied and learned. And I gave them out certificates, and we went as a group and would go to motor vehicles and take the test. So I hope that this helped you in some ways, just a little something. It's not much that deep in depth because I know you guys are people that study out there. Okay, chapter one is the driving manual practice test. They got that in here now. They added a lot of new things since I took the thing. All right, chapter one, driver's license. Chapter two, how to keep your license. Chapter three, owning a vehicle. How you supposed to take care of it, not let it fall apart and what have you, and everything. And even with the license, you don't want to get points and stuff like that on it. All right. Chapter four, traffic control. You got to know all about that traffic and working with other people on the road. Chapter five, intersections and turns. All right. Chapter six, passing. Chapter seven, parallel parking. Chapter eight, defense driving. You got to look out for the other people in person besides yourself. All right. 10, special driving conditions. Sometimes there's different driving conditions that you're going to go through with the weather and everything, things that you can't control and what have you. 11, sharing the road. You got to share it with other people. I know they added bikes and mopeds and all kind of things to it, even skateboards. Before it was just a car and probably a motorcycle and a truck. Okay, and then other things was added. Bigger cars and bigger trucks and those SUVs and things like that to travel. Chapter 12, if you are in traffic, crashes, things like that. If you in a crash, not running away from the thing, they get you for every little thing now. You know what I mean? Maybe the person could have been hurt, you hurt and don't know it and went home and can get sick. So they try to cover everything. So I'm just going to give you some things to look out for. Traffic signs is one. All right. Traffic signs tell you about traffic rules, special hazards, where you are, and how to get where you want to go. Okay. Maybe it's a stop sign, right? And I'm going to show you pictures as well. A stop sign means that come to a full stop and yield the right of way to the vehicle or pedestrians. The people that's walking in the street are the pedestrians. Okay. Um, Pedestrians or heading towards the intersections, go when it is safe to go. They always tell you when you're doing something, go when it is safe to go. All right. Okay. You got regulation signs. Normally, they are white, rectangular with black letters or symbols, but some are different shapes. Then you got your warning signs. Normally, are yellow and diamond shape with black letters and symbols. All right. And then you got your destination signs. You know how it is when you're traveling and you have the green and white signs, the destination signs, right? On the highways and stuff, going far out. You got your service signs that are blue, white, with white letters and symbols. The H for like the hospital and stuff like that. Or maybe you might need gas. So that's what those signs are. Okay. I'm trying to talk and not go through all the papers, even though I got a lot of stuff here. That's like when you preach sometimes, you end up saying a little, but it packs a punch. All right, yield signs. All right, means to decrease the speed when you reach the intersection and to prepare to come to a stop. And they're also red and white. And you got your regulation signs too, like speed limit 55 and things of that, and do not pass or do not turn on red, things like that. So I am going to show you pictures as well. I'm so excited. I don't know what to do first. All right. So I can do it that way. And this is a picture of the stop sign. And this is your yield sign and your regulation sign. Right. You also have your other signs like slippery when wet, the school crossing when the kids are crossing, or when the guys are working, and the working signs are orange with black letters, all right? And you usually see a picture of a man at work with with a flag, or something like this. I'm going to show you the actual pictures, so I didn't want to really do it this way, but I wanted to show you the actual pictures. Okay. If you have like narrow bridges and stuff like that, you have to be very careful. You know what I mean? Uh, it's hard when you're trying to do these kind of things. But if you get an idea about it, when you see it on the test and the multiple choice, all the stuff that you read and looked at will, like snap back in place. It don't always feel like that, but it does. You got your root signs. I like the root signs. You know what I mean? It says U.S. state and things like that, state, country. The root signs. They are shapes that tell you the type of route. I said route that you're on. Okay. And then you got your traffic lights too. One thing about the traffic lights, you got your regular lights, which is red and green and yellow. Yellow means slow down, red means to stop, and green means to go. You also have the ones with the letters as well, and it has the red and the yellow and the green, but it's the letters with the colors at the same time. Okay. And these traffic lights are normally red, yellow, and green from the top to the bottom, from left to right, and some at the intersections as well. Okay. Okay. Down. Sometimes you'll get a steady red one, or flashing red one means to stop, or yield the right of way, and to go when it is safe. All right, you got your flashing yellow, mean drive with caution. If you got a Y, a yellow Y, a Y with the letter yellow. I'm saying it wrong. The color yellow with the letter Y. All right. Okay. Okay. I got so many, right? This one I thought was very interesting about the lanes. When you're going into the lanes like this, and it says when it's a steady red X, do not drive in that lane. So if you see that, don't do it. Then you got your steady yellow X, meaning move from this lane. So if you're in that lane, you gotta have to get out of the lane. Then you got your green arrow that you can use this lane. So you heard that. The green arrow means you can use the lane. All right. You have so many different things. You have your signs. You even have pavement markings on the ground, or in the streets and stuff with arrows that point in different directions too. So be cognizant of that. What really got me is the broken lines that you may see in the street, meaning that you can pass, right? You're permitted to pass, or passing is permitted. Whether you're permitted to pass, passing is permitted. But if it's a double line, a double yellow line, you must stay in the lane. All right, so you shouldn't pass. You got people that sometimes do that anyway, but there's rule. And sometimes you'll see one solid yellow line, or you'll see a solid yellow line and broken lines on one side. So I guess wherever the broken lines are, you can go through. So you got to be cognizant of that as well, you know. So let me see now. So now I get to the pictures what I wanted to show you. So you get a better look, because you got to know the colors and you got to know what type of sign it is. So if you know the colors, that's very good. But if you know what to do at the sign, that is good too. And if if you know what type of sign, is it a regulation sign? You know what I mean? Or is it a warning sign? So the colors help you to remember that as well. All right. That's that page. And let me show you this one too. Some people are very good at taking tests and they could just bam go through the whole thing. And you got some people need a tutor or a one-on-one or group or a small group. And that's where I was coming in at. Our person license had expired, so she asked me, was there anything new? And so I was telling her the new things that I never seen on the test when we took our things years ago. So she was glad for that. So I was able to tutor in that, and then she was able to pass and renew her license. Okay. I always thought this was interesting about the turns and why you're using the hand signals. I don't know if your light is broken, but you need to know these hand signals, whether the light is broken or not. So if you are going left, they say your arm supposed to be extended this way. If you're going right, you're supposed to be extended this way. All right. And if you're going to stop, you're doing it this way. Your hand or your arm is outside of the car, but it's this way so a person that's driving can see it. All right. So you got left, right, and stop. Okay. Okay. So that was part of chapter 4, and that the turns was part of chapter 5. Going a little bit in each chapter. Okay, chapter. No, I wrote this. Let me see. Okay, let me talk about this just a little bit. How to pass on the left. When the left lane is normally used to pass other vehicles. You cannot pass a vehicle on the left if your lane has a solid yellow center line. You cannot safely return to the right lane before you reach a solid yellow center line for the right lane. All right? Or you cannot safely return to the right lane before any oncoming vehicles come within 200 feet. You approach a curve or the top of a hill on a two-way road and cannot see around it. So these are some of the things that you cannot pass on the left about. I tell you, once you look at this, or once you read it, or study it, or read it a couple of times out loud or to yourself, it comes like a piece of cake, really. It really do. Being passed. If another vehicle is passing you on the left, decrease your speed slightly and stay centered in your lane. All right? Stay safely in your lane, and when the vehicle has safely passed and is ahead of you, continue your normal speed. All right? Now you got to be very careful with school buses. They were saying that how many kids have gotten really injured, hurt, and killed because of school buses. And a lot of times they do have their own thing that they can put out, and the flashing lights and the stop sign and all of that. And you got people that don't look at it or pay any attention or don't even bother with it. But you have to think about that, because these kids are small and they're not always looking where they need to look, or being where, or playing, or whatever. But whatever it is, you need to let them safely get the children off the bus, cross the street, or whatever it is. That's why you got your crossing guards, you got your bus matrons, and you got the bus driver, and you got the school bus driver, and all of this stuff. that helps with the children. So you got to be cognizant of that. It's yellow so you can see it blocks and blocks ahead of time. All right. So definitely know that. And it talks about stop at least 20 feet away from that bus. All right. So they talk about the colors of being orange or yellow. You know what I mean? So you don't want to mess with the school bus because it's a big fine. And nobody wants to hurt or injure anybody because that's more really hard to live with. Trust me. All right. No, I read that already. Let's keep it going. All right. Some of the stuff is so interesting. And some of the stuff you have to find a way to make yourself remember it. And sometimes all you have to do is when you start to watch other people drive or you're in the car with them, some of the stuff will click in your head about how you drive. I remember when I learned about the 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock thing, when you're holding the steering wheel, and when I saw people like leaning and being cool and stuff like that, things like that, you could not pass that on the road test. And a lot of times you can't even see being that cool or over the steering wheel. You got to really be cognizant. And they talk about how you're supposed to be able to see the whole road. That's what I used to like about being short. When I had a certain car, I could like see the whole road well. I like that. It helped me out. And this one talks about parking and how you would line the car parallel parking next to another car that's already parked, and there would be a space in between two parked cars, enough for you to get in. So you would line the car up and turn it, way where you could back it in nicely and easily. Believe it or not, I couldn't believe that worked until I did it myself. You know what I mean? But it shows you and tells you and even give you a picture and gives you tips on how to do it. I just want you to see the picture. You know what I mean? And sometimes you get in the car, it can be frightening or scary. I know when I first got in the car, I was so happy and excited, but I was also scared, you know? So you got to think about those things, about, how you pull out and how you have to signal even to pull out. You know what I mean? Signals help other people know which way you're going or what you're doing. You backing up, there's something wrong with the car. All of these things tell the people, say, "Ooh, he got the hazard lights on. Something must be wrong." You know what I mean? The car moving a certain way, they got a flat. I mean, things like that will help you out. Trust me, it will. Right? So they even tell you how to do a broken U-turn and stuff like that and everything because they don't let you really do a U-turn on your driving permit test. I mean, on your actual driving test. On the permit test, you got to know those rules, say those rules, and put them rules down pat. One thing is good if you fail the test, they give you a chance to take it again. Sometimes even the same day, like you figure like, what did I do wrong or say wrong or whatever? Sometimes you gotta relax. You know what I mean? Have a good breakfast and go on and take that test. All right. Now, all right. Reserved space must be marked with signs like one shown above. They're talking about when a person has a disability. I know I had a thing you could put in the dashboard, and I had a thing you can hang. My dad actually had the stuff itself. He had the plates, but you cannot park in that because it's not meant for you, and you don't have no proof that you have a disability. And if you did it just to be quick and all of that, you don't know who needed the parking spot. So they will give you a fine. You'll get in trouble. Your car could get towed and everything. So just don't do it. Don't borrow no trouble like that. Okay? All right. Fines for parking violations. All right. $50 to $75. You know, violations if it's in a shopping center, they say. Don't mess with that. You don't want to be known for that. You know what I mean? People don't like it. People upset and people look at you funny when you do things like that. All right? Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, where we at here? All right. They talk about seat belts as well, and the children having to be in the car seats, and how many kids died before they were car seats and stuff like that. And if it's not on properly, you know how your seat belt supposed to go all the way across you like this because it helps you here and across here and everything. And some, you want it on right. You know what I mean? I remember people used to say they didn't want to. They don't want to be drowning in a car and can't get out and everything like that. Going through the windshield is a whole nother thing that you don't want to experience either. Seat belt, child safety, seats, the airbags, how to drive, in a working zone, or even in the school crossings, where the public schools and stuff are. You want to be very careful in those things. I was driving and a child jumped out right in front of me. I almost fainted. I'm glad I stopped on a dime, but you don't want that in your head, your mind, or your conscience. You know what I mean? When you're driving, you need to be prepared. You need to look ahead. You know what I mean? Maintain the proper speed. Allow space. Don't be tailgating next to the person so much. Wear your seatbelt. Do not drive if you are very weary, or on medication, or have been drinking a beverage that contain alcohol. Keep your vehicle in good condition. You know how some people be driving and the windshield wipers be on, and the windshield wipers so dirty you can't see. You see streaks. You don't know what color the thing is. Come on now. Have your extra tire in the back. Have some tools. I bought a gift for my great nephew, and it was a kit that if you were stranded, all the stuff in there. I couldn't believe that stuff that was in there. You know what I mean? I wanted to buy that for everybody when I saw it because I thought it was a great thing. I mean, it had flashlight, everything in there, even a raincoat. I was like, goodness, they thought of everything if you got trapped or stuck on the side. You know what I mean? Jumper cables, you name it, it was in there. The thing was about that big, and when you open it, I mean, 1,000 things was in that thing. Come on here. Do not use handheld mobile devices while driving. They've been added that about the cell phone texting. You still see people doing that. I know they use it to get around because you got to be able to like get around, and the GPS thing to show you how to go on certain streets. But I be the person be actually looking down and driving, or no hands on the wheel, and I be saying, boy, I want to live, because I ride with special transportation for my disability. You know what I mean? Not trying to blow nobody up, but everybody know who it is. But so far there's a few out there. All right, so that's very important. Proper speed is 55. All right. Okay. For every 10 crashes involved in a rear-ended collision, normally because of a person is following too close. All right. Remember that. Remember that. I wanted to show you how they talked about the seatbelt, so I wanted you to see it a little closer. These are just little tips to help you. Maybe you are good and a genius already, but for the ones of us that wasn't a genius, or maybe took it more than once, or maybe need a little patience, or a reminder, or refresher course, that's where I come in. Driving distractions. God knows there could be some distractions out there. I remember before I needed quiet when I was driving. I wanted quiet when somebody say that. Then after a while, I put this gospel song up with Shirley Caesar, and that really helped me. God keeps His promises, and I forgot the other one. You're next in line for a miracle. That was it. So when I heard that, I was calm as a cucumber. And I got compliments about my driving. I know sometimes I used to drive too slow, but I used to drive at the right speed, and I knew how to speed up. But you remember that stuff when you first start. I'm sorry, you do. All right, let me see. Driving distraction. A distraction is anything that takes your attention away from driving. All right. Taking your eyes off of the road or your hands off the steering wheel. Obvious driving risk. Mental activities that take your mind away from driving just is as dangerous. You know what I mean? You're not even thinking about what I'm going to eat or what I'm going to wear. You got to pay attention. You might be thinking about that, but you better keep your eyes on the road. And that's where they're going through. You know what I mean? Because these things result in injuries and death, or permanent damage. It could be even property damage. I know some people that ran into buildings and stuff. Okay. Do not use your cell phone or text. I'm going to go with that. All right. Avoid arguing and stressful or emotional conversation with a passenger. hmm Avoid eating while driving. Mm. Be sure children are properly, safely restrained. Please, I couldn't say that enough. Um, Properly secure pets in the pet carrier or portable kennel. That's true. You know how the dog get out. You want to sit with you, lick you, and everything. You got no time for that. All right. All right. They talk about aggressive drivers too. Aggressive drivers include speeding, which often leads to the following of too closely or frequent or quick lane changes without signaling. Oh, I've seen that. I know you've seen it too. Passing on the shoulder parts of the roadway. Um, or you know how they pass you, or they pass you so quick you didn't get a chance to see them because they're speeding and they're going fast. All right, so you got to be careful of these type of things. Road rage. Oh boy. Do not get involved in road rage. I wasn't in exactly road rage, but the guy wouldn't let me pass. I don't know if he was flirting, being funny or cute, or noticed I was a new driver or what. But every time I tried to pass on one way, he go that way. I go this way, he go that way. So when I got a chance and we was both at the red light, I said, I got to get out of here, get away from him. And when the light changed. All right? But okay, let's talk about this road rage stuff. All right, road rage can include shouting, excessive use of your horn. All right? Oh wow. Uh Threats. All right? Driving actions like when you cut off another vehicle. Can't cut them off. All right, block another vehicle. All right? Wow, wow. Or slam into another vehicle. You know, people get mad and who want to take the car? I don't. It's a lot. When you stop a vehicle at the side of the road and get out and threaten or attack or fight or injure a passenger or pedestrian or a bicyclist or other person. Wow, that's a lot. Research indicate being a state of road rage, oh man, can affect your blood pressure, ability, or your ability to reason and make decisions. Woo, child. Wow, you can make an error. All right, involve yourself into a crash. Whoa. Aggressive driving and road rage can lead to provoke a suspension of a driver's license. You hear me? Wow. Mm-mm-mm. Problems between family members and friends, loss of employment, and legal problems. All because you was upset on the road. Try not to do that. All right. Points and insurance reduction programs. A lot of times they sometimes I guess anger management can come into play, or a program that can help you with this. I know we was talking about that when I was learning to drive and I went to the driving school, and they used to talk about these things. I don't know if they still do. But this guy was so good. I mean, I sent family, friends, everybody I could to him. All right. Drowsy or fatigue. Now this is important. Your vision and everything get impaired. So you don't need to be doing this. Your eyes close or go out of focus. All right? You find it difficult to keep your head up. You know what I'm saying? Don't continue, you continue to yawn. All right? Your thoughts wander. You're disconnected. You do not remember driving the last few miles. Oh, well, you been on that a long time if that's the truth. You drift between lanes. All right, you're tailgating, you're missing traffic signs. You jerking back into the lanes. You're drifting off the road. You ever hear people like hit that thing? They put those things there so it makes noise. So like I guess you jump up or sit up. Wow, you gotta be careful. Driving long distance without rest breaks. You can't be doing that. You know what I mean? Taking medication that increase sleepiness, or drinking alcohol, driving alone, driving long rural boring roads. You know it can be boring sometimes. You try to stay up, you try to call somebody and everything. You sleepy, man, go to a hotel or go to, they say used to say go to the side road and sleep. I don't know if they still say that, so I ain't gonna say it. And you know you need rest up before you get in that car. All right? You got other people's lives in your hands and your own. You're precious too. You know what I mean? Frequent travelings, business travelers, and long distance commuters. Young people, drowsy driving crashes are most common for young people who tend to stay up late, sleep too little, and drive at night. Wow, 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 wow. These are the people that who are at risk. Shift workers, drivers who have no traditional work schedule have a greater risk of being involved in a fatigue related traffic crash. People with undiagnosed sleeping disorders, they didn't have this when I took the test. All right, at least they didn't say that part. You know what I mean? Effective countermeasures. They tell you before you embark on a trip. Like I said, get some sleep. Plan driving along with a companion. Schedule regular stops. Wow. See, it's a lot to it. But I mean, it'll come like just like breathing and stuff like that. Because you don't want to be in danger. You don't want nobody else being in danger either. Using a cellular phone. No, we got that down pat. Okay. I mean, wow, they talk about all kind of stuff, jail time and everything, and how much alcohol to drink, and and things like that. This is deep. Driving while impaired. The first offense is maybe a 90-day suspension, a 300 to a 500 fine. Second offense can be 500 to $750, a minimum of 6 months. Um, um, uh, revoking of your license. All right. It says revocation, so it threw me a little. I mean, so you got to think of these things: first offense, second offense, or any type of an offense. You know, what does alcohol do? Alcohol delays your reaction of time, reduces your ability to see clearly, change your judgment of speed and distance, often make you less inhabited and make you more prone to take chances. The important skill you need to drive safely are made weaker. All right? You do not have to look or feel intoxicated, I guess, to be that way. You gotta remember that. You hear people all the time say, I know how to get home, or I can drive, or I feel fine. Listen, you got people that take your keys now and have designated drivers. Come on now. Work with your friends. Come on. All y'all. Everybody, you are out there. All right. It says BAC, your blood alcohol levels, your blood alcohol count and stuff. You know? Um how much more you drink. They say instead of drinking coffee and taking cold showers, all the time that you spend without drinking is the real answer. None of that really helps you, the coffee and all of that. You know what I mean? And how much you weigh. Women weigh different from men. And they talk about how fast a person can get drunk or drunk without eating. People eat drinking on an empty stomach. So you got to take all of that in accountability there. You know what I mean? You got different types of drinks too, and some of them you can seem weaker than the other. It can be the same amount. You know. Let me see where I'm at here. I want to be able to read this. You got 5 ounces of wine. It's 12% alcohol. You have a half, 1.5 ounce of liquor, 80 proof, and then you got 12-ounce can of beer, which is what that 5% alcohol. Yeah. Okay, and you got your 12 ounce of a white. What is that? Oh, wine cooler. Okay, a wine cooler, which is also 5%. But all of them is point, point two of your blood level that's in the blood. All right, so all of them would equal point 0.2 in your blood. 0.02. All right, let me see. Okay. You know, they can ask you for a saliva test, a breathalyzer test, and things like that. It's not good to refuse it. You know what I mean? If they, on the side of the road. I remember they used to do the one with the walking and the touching the nose and all of that. But whatever they do, you want to cooperate, especially if you know you was drinking or you the wrong one. Nobody want to fight and argue about this thing. All right? So you don't want to be impaired and stuff like that. Let me see where we at. We've been at it a minute. Uh, you know what I thought was interesting? The things that they say about the car, the things that can go wrong, like the pedal getting stuck or your steering wheel getting, tight and you can't turn it and steering and stuff like that. These are very important things you need to know when you are driving, and they ask you these things on the test, about the gas pedal and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And you want to know. You know what I mean? Or the railroad crossing and stuff like that. You don't want the stuff to fly or hit you by running the wrong direction. You know what I mean? And how to get on and off the highway. You have to, wait for a space and things like that. And you have to watch what you're doing when you're coming off a highway and coming on a highway. You know what I mean? And know which lane. You have to be on the sides to get off the lane to get off where you're supposed to get off. And in the middle, that it goes, for the things to flow well and going right and nice, all the traffic is going pretty good. I know when I was in the middle lane, I had to go faster or better than I was on the sides, because you're doing good on the sides too, but that's where people get off. That's where you're going to get off when you get off. You know what I mean? So you got night driving that can also mess with your vision, and you got people that maybe even need glasses for distance, or things like that. You'd be surprised. So you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Please remember the pedestrians and the skateboard people and all of these different ones, because now you get fined and in trouble for that. And remember the horses. Some cops or police officers ride horses in the street and things like that. So you got to respect the road on all accounts of everything. You know what I mean? Put all of this stuff in consideration. You know what I mean? And when things are, you are at an accident, don't just run off. You have to report it. There's trouble when you don't report an accident or a traffic crash, whether you was in it and what have you. I didn't even know all of that was important, but I think, common sense, or just to be, a good citizen or something like that, you would report it. I ran into you instead of just, I ran into you and you on the side of the road and all of that, or stranded or something like that. Of course you scared and don't want to report stuff or points on your license, but you might have injured the person bad and you might have left with injuries yourself. So I just want you to know I do care. We all do. Take your time and do that permit. And if you do get a few wrong, you can take it again without paying. You already paid the first time, so that's why they allow you to do it again, give you a chance. So get in a good night's sleep, have a nice breakfast, read through it. You know what I mean? And they even have you take it online, you could take it in person, you could bring somebody with you for support, you could test yourself, have somebody test you, or just feel confident because you know enough that probably get you through. You just don't know what question's going to be on there, but they could be, one from each chapter or a couple from each chapter. But I tell you the blood levels, and you got to know your signs. You know what I mean? And the drinking thing and stuff like that. That's very important. You know what I mean? You just got to know those laws of the road. You need to know that for safety for yourself and safety for the other drivers out there. You might see a driver that's swaying out. You don't know to get it out the way or try to get their attention, or they fell out in the car while they driving like that, or they drunk. Sometimes they don't want your opinion or want to hear it. You just trying to look out for them. You know what I mean? And if they don't, I guess you do what you can and do the best you can and use your own discretion. But I hope that this helped you in some sort of way to give you just a little idea or little tips on how we could do this. Okay? This is your girl, always showing you love and want to help you in any way you can. If this helps you to even get a job or help you just to feel happy or better, or encourage you in any way, I am very glad. Or just to give you some pointers. You know what I mean? So, people will laugh if you start telling them something because you passed your permit and you start to tell them about driving and you not driving. But because that stuff is stuck in your head now and you're responsible now once you know the knowledge. So you know what I mean? So sometimes that will make you be a backseat driver or a sideways driver or not, or just cognizant. You don't even have to be none of those things. But then, even if you thinking it and don't say anything, you say, "Wow, that's a sharp turn or a rolling turn or whatever or they're tailgating." You will know right away. It'll just come to you, and you'll see and you'll laugh because Lisa told you. But be safe on the road. Be safe out there. Period. Happy holidays to you, Kwanzaa, Feliz Navidad, Hanukkah, the whole thing. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Be well, be safe, enjoy your family and yourself. All right. And I'm proud of you. I know you're going to get that permit. So go on and do your thing and go on to your license as well. It's a great accomplishment. It's a good and it's a fun accomplishment. And you can use that ID for so much. Okay. And thanks. Good night. Blessings. V for victory. Peace. Shalom.